Hello you guys! It's been a while because a lot of things been happening in my life recently. So today's video will be a little bit of a buffer until I have the next project ready for you guys, which, spoiler alert, will be the superior version of the Dark Oak Forest. So today I'll instead take you guys on a little tour behind the scenes of how I make my videos. So I'll be building some concept houses for a dark oak village that hopefully will be good enough to go in my superior dark oak forest. But I'll let you guys be the judges of that. Alright, the first thing I did was hop into my creative flat world where I keep the other assets from my biome upgrades and got started building. I had sort of 3 ideas for houses I wanted to test out. First, I wanted to build just some regular village houses similar to ones I've built before. My second idea was to build some sort of houses that could hang up in the trees or in the canopy. And my third idea was to make some hollow trees where the houses would be inside of the trunk. Starting with the first idea was pretty simple because I've built a decent handful of those kinds of houses that go on the ground and are similar to vanilla houses, just with more detail. So after creating the basic shape of the house, I just had to fiddle a bit with making a good looking roof style and detailing. So while Replay Me does that, let's just break the fourth wall a little bit. Now those of you who watched my Building Denmark in Skyblock video know that I just moved to start going to uni, which means I spent that week moving all my stuff and then I took a week's trip to Athens. So for the past 2 weeks, I haven't really had time to sit down at my computer, and that's pretty much why this video isn't an actual biome upgrade, but more of an intermediate stage that I usually don't show, which is coming up with variants of village houses like these 3. Often I actually like to draw them instead of building them because that's a lot faster, and I always try to come up with houses that are different enough that they can easily be told apart, but similar enough that they can match to make a whole. And I think I accomplished that pretty well here. The thing is, these houses are kind of boring. They might look nice, but they don't really tell any interesting stories. So now it was time to test out my second idea, some tree houses. And for this, I was gonna need a tree. So I quickly whipped up a semi-decent tree. Let's just completely ignore the back. Also, it didn't have to be perfect because I'm not gonna use this exact build in the biome upgrade. Now for the houses, I only had a vague idea of what I wanted. I wanted some sort of coconut-shaped thing hanging from the trees, connected with ladders and vines, and with little lights sprinkled around the underside of the treetop, because otherwise these builds would be in some very dark shadows. And so I started building something. And I gotta say, it was really hard getting this idea from paper and into Minecraft. Maybe if I had upscaled everything even more, it would have been easier to get the shapes and amount of detail that I wanted, because compared to the first set of houses I made, the detailing on these is kind of lackluster. So even after I also started mixing in other types of wood, they still look kind of boring. But then again, the story of a village having to flee to live in the treetops to escape from the inhabitants of the nearby woodland mansion just kind of spoke to me. And so it was time to move on to my third idea. And once again, I was gonna need some trees where I could build the houses inside of. Luckily, I've gotten pretty fast at whipping up big trees, especially if they don't have to be perfect. Back when I started my channel, I had never built a custom tree before, and so in the beginning, it would take me more than an hour to make a single tree, whereas this tree took me a little under half an hour and looks a lot better than what I used to build. But anyways, now I started hollowing out one of the trees and putting in a door and some windows. I pretty quickly decided I wasn't gonna make any interior for these houses, just like I didn't make interiors for any of the others. So instead, I just placed lanterns behind each window to mimic the look of some sort of lit up room inside. Then I slowly started adding some more detail. Many were recycled from the previous house designs, and so I could pretty quickly move on to the next tree, where I decided to reuse the big round window I had made and sort of make it a staple of these houses. Personally, I think this type of house is the best one for the dark oak forest among the ones I've made in this video, and also the ones that have the biggest room for improvement. And even though the villagers haven't fled all the way to the treetops, I still feel like they would be able to hide from the pillagers in these simply by closing their blinds and covering up the lanterns. But anyways, I would love to know your opinion on these houses and which was your favorite. So make sure you leave a comment and I'll take as much into consideration as possible when making the next Superior Dark Oak Forest video. But anyways, that was all I had for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.